What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I'm back to you guys with another video. This video, I'm here with my New York Jets 2021 7th-round mock draft. Before I get into it, make sure that you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. Also, make sure that you guys go ahead and share this video on your social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're able to connect with your friends, family, and acquaintances. Make sure to go ahead and share this video with them. Help spread the word of JT Sports. It's the best way to support the channel and support me. And on top of that, it's free and it only takes a couple of seconds. So when you look at the New York Jets, okay, this is a team that obviously has a lot of holes at pretty much every single position. This team, as of right now, looks like it is in rebuild mode with new head coach Robert Saleh. Now, when you have a team in rebuild mode, most of the time you have a couple of key pieces, okay? So you got safety Marcus May. You have Quentin Williams on the defense side of the ball. I really like Ashton Davis a lot. Then on the offense side of the ball, okay, you got Mekhi Becton, Jamison Crowder. Now, this is where everything comes into play. What do you do after those pieces? So for Robert Saleh, okay, he's going to have a really tough job ahead of him as a new head coach for the New York Jets. But if they have a pretty good draft, they could position themselves in the next 2 to 3 years to potentially be playoff contenders. So with their first round selection, with their first pick of the first round, second overall, I have them taking quarterback Zach Wilson. Now, I don't believe that the New York Jets should keep Sam Darnold. And the reason why I feel like they should just go ahead, draft Zach Wilson, and move on from Sam Darnold is because, listen, Sam Darnold has been through several coaches, and I think his confidence is shot. And on top of that, if you're Robert Saleh, put yourself in the shoes of Robert Saleh. Do you really want to put your job on the line trying to develop a guy in Sam Darnold? I wouldn't. And a lot of people have to take this from a different perspective. It's easy for everybody to say, well, JT, Sam Darnold now has a good coach. All you just got to do is give him a good offensive line. I understand that. But right now in today's NFL, you don't have, 4 or 5 years as a head coach anymore. People expect you to produce results immediately. And for Robert Saleh, okay, he doesn't have 2-3 years to wait to rebuild Sam Darnold. He needs a quarterback who can come in and produce right away. And I believe Zach Wilson can do that. Now, Zach Wilson is easily starting to become one of the most overhyped players in this upcoming NFL draft, which is why a lot of people are now starting to hate Zach Wilson, because a lot of people keep comparing Zach Wilson to Patrick Mahomes. I don't really see the Patrick Mahomes comparison. Now, I can understand the Deshaun Watson comparison, but I think Patrick Mahomes is a stretch. I understand where people can get the Patrick Mahomes comparison from, but I don't really see it. Now, for Zach Wilson going to the New York Jets, you have to protect your franchise quarterback. So you have offensive tackle Mekhi Becton. Well, who's next? Well, you should select offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State. Now, Tevin Jenkins played in 35 games. He started in 35 games and has played in 37 games during his career at Oklahoma State. Now, he has experience playing left tackle, right guard, but has mostly spent the majority of his playing career playing right tackle. So he does have some versatility. If New York wanted to move him to left tackle, he could play that. If he wanted to play right tackle, he could. He can also play right guard as well. So you have that versatility there. And he's 6'6", 320 pounds. And I think if you get Tevin Jenkins on opposite side of Mekhi Becton, you're going to have one of the best offensive tackle tandems in the NFL, which is going to be really important, because then you're going to give your franchise quarterback Zach Wilson some protection. If Tevin Jenkins is able to play up to his potential, then him and Mekhi Becton should be Pro Bowlers, and the New York Jets probably will have the best offensive tackle duo in the NFL. With their round 2 selection, 34th overall, having selected wide receiver Rondelle Moore. Now, Rondelle Moore is one of the more, I would consider him one of the more boom or bust prospects in this draft. Now, he's not a typical boom or bust prospect because he does have skills that translate really well into the NFL, and he should be a really good player at the NFL level because he can do so many things, okay? He's good in special teams. If you want to send him back to return punts or kickoffs, you also can line him up in the backfield. He can do a little bit stuff in the backfield as well, some gadget plays with him. He can catch the passes in the middle of the field. If you need him to play slot, he can play outside receiver. He can do so much. But the reason why I consider him one of the biggest boom bust prospects in his draft class is because in the last 2 seasons, he's only played in 7 games. So pretty much, if you're drafting Rondelle Moore, you're pretty much drafting him because you're in love with the tape that he has and you're in love with what you saw out of him freshman year. But aside from that, he hasn't really been able to stay healthy. So for the New York Jets, if you draft Rondelle Moore, you're getting a guy who has a lot of upside. And if he's able to stay healthy, then you're going to get a really good player. But can he stay healthy is the question, which is why I have him going 34th overall to the New York Jets. Now, if he didn't have the injury concerns, I think he would be a top 15 prospect and a lock for the first round. But since we have those durability concerns about Rondelle Moore, I think he's more of a day 2 prospect. Now, I have tight end Pat Freiermuth out of Penn State going in round 3, 66 overall to the New York Jets. The New York Jets need a tight end. Chris Herndon hasn't really materialized to what I thought he would. So, Pat Freiermuth, he's your typical, prototypical modern day tight end. He is really good in the passing game. He has good hands. He's a pretty good route runner coming from the tight end position. Now, the only downside about Pat Freiermuth is the fact that he isn't that good of a blocker. So don't expect this guy to be in many, run-heavy situations when it's like 30 inches and things like that. But I think he is your modern-day typical tight end. He is what you want out of the tight end position this day and age of the NFL. Now, him and Kyle Pitts get a lot of comparisons. I understand why he is kind of compared to Kyle Pitts, but they're in 2 different leagues, okay? Because Kyle Pitts is just an athletic freak, and Pat Freiermuth, he's no slouch neither. He's pretty athletic as well, but he isn't as athletic as Kyle Pitts. But they do kind of have a similar skill set. Now, you can't line up Pat Freiermuth in the slot or anything like that, but you can line him out wide from time to time in certain situations, and he can be kind of a mismatch nightmare for corners because of his size and a little bit of his athleticism. So I think Pat Freiermuth is the second best tight end in this draft class behind Kyle Pitts, and I think him going to the New York Jets will be a match made in heaven, and you give Zach Wilson another weapon to work with. Now, with their second round 3 selection, I have them selecting the edge rusher Ronnie Perkins. Now, Ronnie Perkins is really underrated. I think that he could go early round 2, late round 2, but a lot of people pretty much have him projected to go around round 3, pretty much at this point where the Jets are picking. Now, Ronnie Perkins has had pretty good production during his career at Oklahoma. He had 5.5 sacks in 2020 last season, 6 sacks in 2019. He's a very good power rusher, has very good power rush moves. He's good in the run game, but he struggles against pulling blockers, and he's also very undisciplined at times against the run, especially in zone read situations. He tends to be very aggressive in certain situations, but for the New York Jets, if you can find a way to give him a couple more pass rush moves, then I think you have a guy who can kind of be like a Max Crosby kind of player. I think he can come in right away and give you 5-6 sacks as a rookie. If you're Robert Saleh and you're the New York Jets and you're looking for a guy to contribute right away, I think Ronnie Perkins would be the guy. Now, I have them taking halfback Michael Carter out of the University of North Carolina in the 4th round, 98th overall. Michael Carter is the 4th best halfback in this draft class to me, because when you look at Michael Carter, this dude is a monster. He has great vision, first of all. He goes from 0 to 100 really fast, so he has great acceleration. He has great contact balance. He's hard to bring down on initial contact. This guy is one of those halfbacks who you're not going to wrap up based off initial contact. And I'm pretty sure if you're a corner or you're a defensive back, the last guy you want to see breaking down the sideline that you have to tackle is Michael Carter. This dude is really explosive. And for the New York Jets, I mean, the halfback position last year wasn't really all that great. Who you had? LaMichael Pirine, I believe, and you had Frank Gore, if I'm not mistaken. So your halfback position is pretty shaky right now. You don't really have that much time to work with. Well, you draft Michael Carter. You get a guy who not only can contribute as a rookie right away, but I think he can have a lot of success because of how good he is. And the fact that he doesn't go down off the first initial contact, that shows you how good of a running back he is. Because this is how I judge a good running back from an average running back. An average running back isn't going to break tackles. Elite running backs break tackles. They make something out of nothing. They have elite acceleration. They have good vision. Michael Carter has all the traits of a potential elite running back. And I think he would be a really good pick for the New York Jets, who are searching for some playmakers on offense, because you only had one last year, which was Jamison Crowder. I have them taking another offensive weapon in the next round, round 5, 130th overall, to Marion Terry. Now, Marion Terry kind of had a down year last year. I was really disappointed because I expected more out of Marion Terry because of all the hype he was receiving. A lot of people had him going late in the first round, early second round before the season started. Now, of course, the quarterback situation at FSU didn't do Marion Terry no favors neither, but he struggles with drops and he isn't really good tracking the ball in certain situations, but he has very good size to become an elite deep threat. He's 6'4", 203 pounds, has elite speed when it comes to getting off the line. He also has very good acceleration, a very fast burst off the line as well. He has a great get off. He averaged 58 yards per reception a couple years back, and he's very solid after the catch as well. He reminds me a lot of Alshon Jeffrey when Alshon Jeffrey was in the earlier stage of his career with the Chicago Bears. And if you're the New York Jets, you're looking for more weapons. Well, now you give Zach Wilson to Marion Terry. He may be a guy who can contribute for you right away early for the New York Jets. With their second fifth round selection, 138th overall, we have them taking edge rusher Chris Ruff II out of Duke. Now, I like Chris Ruff a lot. Now, Chris Ruff brings a lot of versatility, okay? Now, he's very long and lean and lanky, so you kind of have to put him in like a hybrid scheme, like a 3-4 hybrid, a 4-3 hybrid, because he has some versatility that I think he fits more in the hybrid scheme. Now, he has very good technique, high football IQ. He's very long, lanky. I would like to see him add a little bit more weight, but he probably will be utilized more as a off-ball outside linebacker, because I just think that with his frame and how lanky he is, you really can't put him on the line that much. So for Chris Ruff, I really think he has a lot of potential. Now, of course, he could use some more development, but he's pretty fundamentally sound, has good technique, good fundamentals. So I think this is a good mid-round selection at this point. He could be starting out as a good backup and become a very average or above average pass rusher if developed and utilized in the proper situation. But heading into the league, he's probably going to be more of a backup and situational pass rusher for the next couple of years. With their 6th round selection, 162nd overall, having taken cornerback Marco Wilson out of the University of Florida. Now, Marco Wilson is not as bad as people make him out to be. Now, I know he is probably the most hated man in Gainesville right now, because without a doubt, he's the best shoe tosser in the draft class. He pretty much threw away Florida's chances of making it into the college football playoffs. But here's the thing about Marco Wilson. Marco Wilson struggles in man-to-man coverage. So he needs to go to a team that pretty much is going to put him in zone coverage situations, or situations that he doesn't really have to play man-to-man all that often. I think he will be better in the zone coverage defense primarily. Or maybe a switch to safety could also be in the rear view mirror as well if you're Marco Wilson. But he can play slot corner. He can also play outside corner. He has good play recognition. He's very good when it comes to design cornerback blitzes. So for Marco Wilson, I think he'll be a pretty good fit for the New York Jets and Robert Saleh. I think he could be a pretty good zone coverage corner in the NFL. I don't think he's bad as people make him out to be. Like I said, he's definitely draftable. Now, is he good? No, he's not. He does have a lot of room for improvement, but I do think he is worth being drafted. Now, for their last selection, I have them taking wide receiver Rico Bussey Jr. from the University of Hawaii. Now, Rico Bussey, he entered the transfer portal. He transferred to Hawaii and didn't really get to see that much of him this season, but he's a pretty explosive wide receiver. Of course, you want to give him the ball in his hands. He's not really a great route runner, and he's not really that good getting off press coverage as well, but he's a guy who you just want to give him the ball in space off screen passes, drag routes, maybe give him a couple of reverses and jet sweeps as well. But I think he could be a good returner. He could be a good special teams contributor, and I think Rico Bussey would be a pretty good fit for the New York Jets with their 215th overall selection. So this is it for my New York Jets 2021 7th round mock draft. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section down below. Make sure that